Hello everyone, welcome to today's bookish video. I've just finished reading The Song of Achilles and Circe by Madeline Miller, and today I'm so excited to talk to you guys. These are both adaptations of Greek myths. The topic of the day is what is the meaning of life? I know, we're gonna get deep. I'm gonna read a bit from The Song of Achilles first. I put a post-it note on it, but I still can't find it. The sons of Troy are known for their skill in battle, and their deaths will lift your name to the stars. If you miss it, you will miss your chance at immortality. You will stay behind unknown. You will grow old and older into obscurity. This is the second prophecy that was given to Achilles. Fate told him he only had two options. Either fight in the Trojan War, make a name for himself and die young, or avoid the war, live a normal life until old age and be forgotten. There was no in-between or second chances at a different war. It had to be Troy. And so since the second option sounds like absolute hell to Achilles, he went to Troy. And the prophecy is fulfilled. He's known as the best of the Greeks, a hero who fought in the Trojan War, killing Hector, the strongest enemy. And his song is sang for eternity that even people like me in the 21st century are still talking about him. Yet no one talks about how long the war was and what happened to Achilles by the end of the war. If you're like me and don't really know much about Greek myths apart from just the headlines, then this book, The Song of Achilles, offers a bittersweet retelling of Achilles' story. It will fill in the gap of what happened to him before the fame and the type of person Achilles was. The only spoiler I'm going to give to you is that the war was prolonged because of love. Achilles was told he would die, but only after Hector. So the plan was, why should I kill Hector? What has Hector ever done to me? It seemed really crazy to me at first that Achilles went to Troy. I just didn't understand why, the glory of fame was worth dying over. I just didn't understand what was so bad about having a normal life. Like, why do you need to die for fame? But then I remembered who Achilles was. His father was a human king and his mother was a goddess. He was literally born with divine abilities blessed by the gods. Achilles had so much potential in him that to not use it would have actually been a disservice to himself. For Achilles to not go to war was Achilles not fulfilling his calling. We love saying the word calling, it's such a sexy word. But to fulfill your calling, you actually have to be doing your unique talent and gift. And so I thought if I was Achilles and my path to purpose led me to death, I guess it seems I'm going to be walking after fate. Along with his calling, it was his desire to leave a legacy behind that led him to Troy. The glory from fighting in the war meant that he would be remembered as best of the Greeks. Achieving fame was important to him. He felt he needed it to prove his talent. And honestly, I don't see a problem with that. He was honest with himself about what he needed out of life. Achilles chose a short and glorious life because to him, the meaning of life was to do something now and greater and leave a mark on the world. Now let's talk about love briefly in the story. Achilles had a lover, yet he did not stay alive for his partner. And I found it interesting because I thought their relationship was basically perfect. And I thought it was going to be enough for him. But it wasn't. The relationship was nice, but to Achilles, following his calling and leaving a legacy was what the meaning of life was for him. However, for Patroclus, his lover, the meaning of life was love. And so instead of this causing a friction in the relationship, Patroclus simply followed Achilles to Troy. If you die, I die was the motto. I thought it was crazy at first, but then I understood that to some people, the meaning of life was their connection to others. They prioritized their family, friends, and lovers over anything. The only reason why I don't think what Patroclus did was necessarily toxic was because he wasn't really leaving much behind. So supporting Achilles and being happy was better than the loneliness without him. Some people feel that if they can maintain a special bond, that is what life is all about. So my takeaway from this book is that the meaning of life is either calling or connection. The book makes it seem like you can only pick one. However, I know there are other options and an individual can learn to balance. But if you could only pick, which one would you choose? I think I'd choose calling. Moving on to the next book, Circe, I also felt that connection and calling was shown to be the meaning of life. Circe has various Greek myth adaptations in her story, including Daedalus, the one who built the labyrinth for the Minotaur, and Odysseus. I'm going to read a bit about Odysseus. The giant it belonged to, the one-eyed shepherd, returned with his sheep and caught them all. He rolled a great stone over the entrance to trap them. Odysseus pawed the monster with wine and friendly words. His name he gave as Otis, no one. When the creature fell asleep at last, he sharpened a great stick and plunged it into his eye. They were able to escape when he let his sheep out to graze. The enraged monster called for help from his fellow one-eyes, but they did not come, for he cried, "No one has blinded me, no one is escaping." Odysseus and his crew reached the ships, and when they were safely distanced, Odysseus turned back to shout across the waves, "If you know the man who tricked you, it is Odysseus." And then his son replied, when Circe was telling the story, "It was a bad life. All those years of pain and wondering why, for a moment's pride. He would rather be cursed by the gods than be no one." Ooh, he'd rather be cursed by the gods than be no one. Odysseus was also a hero from Troy, and he was very ambitious. He did so much. He's behind the Trojan horse. That plan, that's who Odysseus was. He was someone that was strong, he was heroic. However, after the war at Troy, he stopped at this cave and there's a Cyclops. He is cursed by one of the gods because of hurting this monster. And so he has to wander around the sea for 10 plus years before he meets Circe. And so because of his ambition, because of his need for acknowledgement, that actually caused him 10 years just for shouting out his name, just for taking credit. And so when Circe comes into contact with these men, from Daedalus to Odyssey, she is listening to their story and she is seeing how they're living out their calling and being respected by those around them. However, she was not someone who was used to praise because she was exiled for using her skill. She was one of Titan Helis' daughter, but because of her voice and her playing features, she never fit in with the rest of the gods. And she was actually bullied by her siblings and she was always alone. Being an outcast and filled with loneliness, she desperately yearned for connection. So when she meets a mortal who finally gives her attention that she's been craving, she acts very rashly to try to turn him immortal. She believed that if she had someone, her immortal life would be bearable. At this point in time, love was the meaning of life to her, and specifically to have an eternal love, eternal connection, because she is an immortal god. And so yes, Circe was able to turn the man into a god. However, things did not go as smoothly as she hoped, and she kept on making more mistakes and even ended up acting with malice, which was what caused her to be exiled to an island. And so at first, when she reaches the island, she's very happy and she's enjoying her newfound freedom, thinking her life is about to start and adventure awaits her. As she explores the island, she decides she will now focus on her talent, and she no longer requires a life of connection. The meaning of life for her now is about getting better at her craft and falling after her calling. Throughout the book, we continue to see how she deals with eternal isolation. I'm not going to say any more about what happens because I've already given too many spoilers. I recommend you go get the book and read it for yourself and learn about her experience as she navigates the meaning of life and becoming who she truly is. At the end, you'll find out if calling is enough for her or if connection is what she truly desires. And so we have come to the end of this bookish video. The Song of Achilles and Circe are absolutely beautiful books. Honestly, they are bestsellers for a reason. The stories are so exciting, and from the start you get engaged and you just want to go on the adventure. Yet, the stories are also incredibly heartbreaking, especially Circe over here. Some people shouldn't have to go through some stuff. I felt like I really learned about certain struggles and perspectives that I didn't think about. And it's really challenged me in a way to think about my life and my values. And like I said earlier, if I could only choose two, I think I would choose calling, because at the end of the day, I think there's just something about wanting to do what you're meant to do, you know, using your skill, using your talent. But you know, if I could have the Hannah Montana dream, you know, Miley's a schoolgirl by day, Hannah's a pop star by night, then I'd love to live the best of both worlds. And I do want to aspire to have a really good balance of connection and calling in my life. But like I said, if I could only choose one, remember me. I have linked these two books down below. I definitely recommend you get yourself a copy. Let me know in the comments if you have already read this and have anything else to say about some of the points I've mentioned today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, remember to like, comment and subscribe. Ring in the notification bell so you know when I post. Bye. Miley's a schoolgirl by day, Hannah's a pop star by night, and I'm living a secret life. We got the best of both worlds, chilling now, take it slow.